I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up. Told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up. Matter what. Told ya I'ma do me, why you hating on me, it's not adding up. I do roll like a Mack truck, country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold-hearted, now I'm back up. Keep it real, I do this once a month, I don't rap much. I just take the money and go stack up. Only buying car to get tatted up. All that other bull, it don't matter much. You only climb me, I put the ladders up. No fault, I done doubled up on the workload. I think I fell in love with the bankroll. Pray up, get money, then we lay low. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up, bankroll, euro.
What it do, folks? Welcome to Team No Sleep. What is it, Thursday, August 19th? Montel, look at you, brother.
Yeah, man, pre-weekend, baby, you know.
Is that it?
Happy pre-Friday.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, happy
yes.
pre-Friday.
I see, you know, we both working on our Movember early, right? We got the salt going early.
Yeah. Sprinkling the salt and pepper in there, man. Just, you know, showing a little maturity. That's how I like to say
Is
it.
that what it
Showing a
is?
little maturity on there.
Seasoned is what it is. I call it. We looking seasoned, brother, right here. So what's happening, folks? I see folks are in the building. How you doing, sir? Always good to see you. Man lives 2 miles away from me, man, and we don't get to see each other as much as possible. Golly, I got to change that. There's only 2 miles.
Shame on you, man. That's
It is. It's my.
That ain't Papa Hicks. That's all you. That's your fault. That's you.
I can't blame nobody but myself. It don't make no sense, man.
Yep.
Brother,
all you.
Let's go ahead and get into some things here. We got a jam-packed conversation today. We got some topics that we want to get into. Y'all know Team No Sleep. We go into the social impact of sport. We may talk a little sports scores tonight too, again, because we got preseason football. No, we normally don't talk about that kind of just thing, but we go a little bit deeper, and we will tonight. But let's start with a good story. Talk to us about. I know you just had your annual football classic down in your area. Let's talk a little bit about that, brother. Let's go and give you your flowers while we can.
Oh man, definitely blessings. Me and my partner Ruben Pena, we have a Kickoff Classic every year in San Diego County. It's basically preseason games for high school, and we raise money for the San Diego Food Bank. And this year we was blessed to be able to raise over 3,700 pounds of food to be able to give back to the people in need, man, and help that cause out, especially during this COVID. We just, man, feel very, very blessed to be able to have our 7th annual. So, man, flowers are appreciated, man. We just continue to do our thing. Next up will be our all-star game to kind of help kids get into college and just keep it pushing.
I love it, brother. You out there doing something right for the community. You're bringing people together, and I know you're doing scholarships for a minute too. Now, is that still on the roadmap? You still doing some of that as well?
Yeah. I'm actually going to design a program for kids kind of going into college and work with some schools, some particular schools, and helping the kids get acclimated to Summer Bridge and their AOS programs like that, and be able to earn additional scholarship money, especially for the smaller schools, the Division IIs and the D3s and the NAIs. I just believe that now we got to be really creative, just not beyond sports aspect. I think we got to start making sure the kids are really geared towards their academic prowess as well, and getting them all acclimated. And I got the blueprint because I did the blueprint with my son, and we're making sure it works, and it's working really well. So I want to be able to share that with kids and get them a better understanding. So not only would they get to college and play sports and get a scholarship, but also be successful on the field and in the classroom. So
I love
that's
it.
just definitely working some things out.
I love it, brother. I love it. You deep in the football genre ecosystem. So we're gonna talk a lot of football tonight, just because of that is who you are. Then we'll round it out with a little baseball conversation. Okay. Preseason football is happening right now. Well, who's playing right now? We got was it the Patriots are playing against man, I don't even know who's playing. I just know it was just a whipping being put on somebody. Hold on. It's the Patriots and the Eagles. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, it's not too bad. It's only 7-0. But have you caught any of the games thus far?
I watched a little bit of preseason. I watched
Yeah.
the Rams and the Chargers play. In preseason, I like to watch not to the last couple of games, because the first couple of games they play, the starters only play a little bit, and then they put all the guys that are trying to make the team. I like more like the fourth and fifth game, or the third and fourth game, I should say.
Yeah.
Where it's all the guys that are just finally going to try to make the squad and really settling out and playing and showing what they can really do, if they're going to make the team or not. I think the NFL, expanding the season, they need to shorten the preseason.
Yeah.
Because there's too many games, too much, or expand the roster count. So more players, if they do get hurt, they have more substitution. So I'm hoping that this kind of is a tale of the tale that's going to happen. But as far as watching preseason, I've seen some plays. We've seen guys like Najee Harris do his thing, get down. Mm-hmm. I'm slowly but surely becoming a Pittsburgh fan because I'm a Najee Harris fan.
Hey, I'll quit this on there. And as you said that, look, Lisa Maria says, look, she don't know who playing unless it's the Steelers. Shouts out to the terrible towel carriers.
but I'm not all the way there just yet.
We'll get you.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing, like you said, the Eagles, what they're gonna do with Jalen Hurt.
Yeah.
I read an article today about Deshaun. My man down in Texas. Texas may be traded. They're trying to figure out a trade for him to get him out of there. Yeah. The quarterback over there. To get him, so there's still a lot going on. I'm definitely an Aaron Rodgers fan. I'm gonna see what he do this year.
Oh yeah.
See what he plays, and then all the fantasy football people, they all jumping on trying to say who's who, what's what. And I'm gonna give somebody some inside advice for fantasy. If you ever want to pick a fantasy team, pick a guy that's on his last year of his contract to be on your team.
He's gonna show out, right? Because he's gonna show out.
He's playing hard to get that money. So if you ever want those sleepers, or you're looking for people that want to, don't sign the person that just signed their contract and then get comfortable. Look for those young guys that are on the last tail of their contract, trying to prove themselves, to earn themselves the big payday the following year. That's my message for fantasy football players.
Look at Montel coming here dropping gems for the fantasy football leagues, man. I ain't mad at that.
Man.
I tell you, somebody who's not going to be on fantasy football this year, your boy Tim Tebow from Jacksonville.
Oh, man.
Your boy Tim Tebow got cut. Urban Meyer just said, look, he too old. That's pretty much what he said in the press release, in the interview afterwards. He said, look, he's 30-some years old. He can't tackle. That's what that was.
Nice. Well, he can't block. So he was being nice. Urban Meyer's being nice. Obviously, think about it, man. Someone that played a position for all their life, and then you asking them to play a different position, that's just a hard transition in itself. Yeah. So they're asking the world of Tim Tebow. Now, this being said, it's funny because I followed this a little bit. I don't know if it was. I've always said he didn't deserve an opportunity, but I'm gonna actually say I don't know if it was warranted for him to get cut just yet. I don't know if it was warranted, and I'm gonna tell you why. I was watching, and I took this from Marcellus Wiley and Ocho's conversation they were having, because it was very interesting. They were talking about that the players above Tebow at the tight end position collectively over the last 3 years only have a total of less than 25 receptions. So the guys that are in front of him aren't producing.
Yeah.
So, and Tebow never got a chance to see if he could produce. He got cut before he could get a chance to run a route and catch a ball.
Right.
So, is it really warranted that he got cut so early? I think Urban Meyer was done with the distraction, and he wasn't very good. But again, he never really got a chance to prove himself if he was very good or not. He's not a blocking tight end. I'll give you a guy that's not in a blocking tight end. Gronkowski's not a blocking tight end. He doesn't block. He's a flex tight end that goes out and catches the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Tebow is that kind of tight end. Maybe he's a guy that just doesn't block well, but he has to be after the flex and catch. I don't know. I don't know if it was really warranted to cut him so soon. Now, I've been saying all along, I don't even think he deserved a chance to be there. But if you're going to be there, man, at least give the guy a fair opportunity to prove himself to see if he can play.
Yeah.
So Urban Meyer was quickly to sign him, and now he quickly cut him. So That's kind of nature of the beast. But let's not feel bad. He got a check. He got a check
Oh
for these
yeah,
last couple
oh
of
yeah.
weeks.
Look, he is not out of work. His
Yeah,
bank account is still got a lot of zeros at the end of it. He'll probably go
yeah.
back to doing analyst work, but
And,
not everyone gets this kind of an opportunity. Again, 30 some
yeah,
years old, getting out there and suiting up for an NFL team and possibly making the team. I mean, look,
yeah.
he's gonna be all right.
And let's be honest. I mean, physically, he was in shape. He was jacked up. I thought he was pretty big. He looked really good physically. Um, and you're right. He's going to get the opportunity, and he's going to go fall in the niche where I think he belongs to. Going to be an analyst for collegiate football.
Yeah,
That's where his niche is. That's where he was the greatest, arguably one of the greatest players to play.
exactly.
Go be an analyst for in that realm, in that arena, and he's going to be successful for years to come.
Lisa Maria talking about. Yeah, Melanie said, "Yeah, got to check," and then Lisa Maria said, "Yeah, he paid in full, so you can't complain." Look,
Exactly.
cut me
Can't
one of them
complain.
checks, right, for just being out there on the practice squad for one or two
Yeah,
plays. I'm gonna be all
yeah.
right.
Yeah. I'll go get hit, go knock out, miss a few blocks to get paid.
Yeah,
Shoot, ain't no
And
ain't no
hey, I've
thing.
been watching a little practice. The brothers out there, they being competitive. So I saw there was
Yeah.
a handful of scuffles out there with some of the two. I mean the cross teams, right? So
Mm-hmm.
and that's what you expect, though, right? You
Yeah,
expect for these
that's
guys to
always
be
been
out there
yeah,
competitive.
yeah,
That's part of the game. So
yeah,
hopefully no one talks negatively about that. Again, you go out there, you put yourself out there, you be competitive that entire play, and you move on until the next thing.
yeah.
So I was
I
just
mean,
noticing that before we went online tonight.
yeah, I think this is a camera. This is a camera on it now. It's
Oh
always
yeah.
been there.
Oh
It's
yeah. Oh yeah.
always, and I mean, even at those levels, there's not a fight in practice. Basically that's a bad practice because people are not being competitive enough.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's a physical sport. It's a physical sport. It's a macho sport. It's a mano a mano sport. It's always going to be fights. And then when you collide one team versus another team, hey, it's always going to be some. It's going to be some people going at each other and jawing at each other. So it's all fair war and competition.
That's true. That's true. See, MDH is coming through. She clowning with jokes just because we got the salt going as well. We starting early. All right, we start.
Yeah,
Yeah, we starting real early. I just been a little lazy this past week because I didn't have to be on video anywhere. See, don't give me a hard time. God, don't give me a hard time. I wanted to ask you about something else about football, and we talked about this a few weeks ago. Now a lot of players are actually changing their numbers, right? They have the
hmm
ability to change their number, and it's a financial burden for some of these players because they've got to buy out the inventory that they had for their other number, right? So say they were number
hmm
54 and they've always wanted to be number 7. Cool. But your team has all these jerseys and all this gear that has your old number on it, so you have to buy that out.
yeah.
The conversation came up, and I think it was Tom Brady who was mentioning that he wasn't a big fan of this because in his mindset, right, he gets used to throwing to players who have a specific set of numbers. Now, again,
Mhm.
since everyone's running and not looking at him, it's going to take a little bit more brain power. Now that guy, he's got it, right? But again, what? Let me get your thought on this whole aspect. Again, players changing numbers, going from a double-digit number
Um,
down to a single-digit number.
it's I mean it's all about individualism at that point. People
Mm.
just want to be, the preference number, what they want to wear. Look good, feel good, dress good, play good. That kind of
Everyone wants to wear
ideology.
number one. I mean, can't
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
wear number one,
I
man? No.
I don't agree with Tom Brady because he says he throws to a number, but he actually throwing to a color. When you're in a stadium with thousands of people like that, and you see a guy running the
That's a
route,
good point.
he runs the route. He throws to the color. I mean, it doesn't matter what number he is. He's trying now. Maybe as far as the target's concerned, he's trying to hit him in the numbers. But I mean, that number could be 1, it could be 31, it could be 81, it could be anything. Just hit the guy where he's open in this thing. So, to me, I wish they didn't trade your number because we were always set with, you got a set of numbers
Yeah,
depending on what position you play.
yeah,
But I mean, they wanted to give the guys some freedom. I mean, NFL is taking so much away from players. You took away celebrations. You took away this thing. You
yeah,
gotta make sure you dress someone. They gave them back. You can get whatever number you want, as long as you kind of within that realm. So I'm okay with it. It's not a big deal. It's just funny that the financial burden is there for players. So if I was number 2 and now I want to be number 3, I got to buy out all the inventory of
yeah.
what's there. So again, the owners is taking no L's at all.
they getting recouped for all those finances for sure. Now I'm glad like Hines Ward is no longer playing, because I would hate for him to be playing and had to change my jersey number, which I'm gonna be wearing when the season starts. But I won't go into that as well.
Old school, that way you good.
Old school
jersey.
Yeah, I never wear a player who's still playing, because this doesn't seem right. I don't know. I won't even. No, I would say I would talk about the one situation where I bought a what was your boy's name? The bum QB for Cleveland. Manziel. I did.
Johnny Manziel?
I did. I bought a Manziel jersey. Like,
oh man, he ain't a bum. It just didn't work out for him, man. All
look,
he was good, man.
He was so bad that I literally, that was one of the jerseys that I burned. You know, everyone was walking around burning LeBron jerseys when he left Miami and went. Man, I sure did burn that jersey, and I don't even know. I still get chastised and teased for buying that jersey, and it was just not a good look.
You could have sold that online, man. You'd have made a little bit of paper off that right now.
I didn't know what I was doing, but I was dazed and confused, man. So I needed you in my life at that time, brother. I'm buying Johnny Manziel jerseys. It was something wrong for sure.
I hope Pittsburgh gives him a tryout now for that.
No, it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. Let's talk about some of these players who aren't playing right now. Right, we got some injuries that are happening. We got some folks that we wish were back in the lineup. Let's talk about Dak. Right, I mean that's someone who a lot of folks have been watching and looking at for a while when he got hurt last season, and here it is now announced that he's not even going to do anything productive during preseason. Give me your thoughts on that, man.
Man, I think, personally for Dak, I'm glad he got paid for services rendered, because he got paid for what he did in the past based on his contract in the future, which is great. But from an owner standpoint and from a football standpoint and a salary cap standpoint, wow, if he's not able to play or he's not 100%, this is going to give a whole new outlook to contracts for players that are coming off injury for the NFL. Do you invest the big dollars in them? And me personally, if I was an owner, I say no. As a fan wanting Dak to be there, I say yes. So it's always going to be a big catch-22, but I think they invested so much money in Dak, and he's just not healthy. I would personally like to see Dallas shelf him again for another year until he gets healthy. If you want to protect your investment, they better shelf him, or shelf him for until he's 100% healthy.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to throw him out there to the wolves, because Jerry Jones always wants to win now. He wants to win. He's in the now mode. I want to win now. And I think if Dak doesn't start this year, or they said they're going to shelf him, maybe Dak can restructure his 1 year, this one per year contract,
right, for
them to be able to get some money to be able to bring another quarterback on. But I don't see throwing him to the wolves. If he's not healthy, I mean, he's going from his knee to his shoulder,
right,
and then his other leg and his ankle. So I mean, went from his ankle to his knee to his shoulder. So he's obviously, compensating for something that's still hurt, or throwing too hard with his shoulders because his legs aren't strong enough. Something's going on, because he's getting all these nagging injuries, and they're starting to turn into serious injuries. I mean, he had an MRI, not only his ankle again, but also on his shoulder. So there's something that's there that I don't know if they're not telling us just yet, or his body is just kind of starting to break down a little bit and not having enough time to heal, because he probably went at it so hard and getting ready for rehab, trying to come back so fast because he wanted to get that big contract.
Yeah.
Man, that's just a tough one. It's going to be really hard now for someone coming off injury to get that big contract. I think they're going to be playing those 1 year contracts, and let's see what you can do before we cut you a big check. So it is weird, man. It's gonna be really weird, playing Monopoly with the NFL and that money they all got.
Yeah. So you think there's going to be a precedent set because of Dak, again, high profile player who, not making light of it, but I'm just going to say can't get right. I mean, just the fact that he is where he is, and he's not out there able to produce on the sideline. Yeah, but that's all good. But we need you out there between the lines. You think coaches, owners, GMs, and folks in leadership at some of these teams are going to say, look at what this big name player, a lot of money. Are we going to start making decisions, kind of make an example out of what the Prescott situation is?
Absolutely. You got to think, when they go to that owners meetings at the end of the season, this will be a hot topic. Guys that are coming off injuries are coming off of really horrific injuries, but they've proven themselves in the league. They can play in the league, but are we willing to give them that big contract?
Right.
And I think the answer is going to be no.
Mm-hmm.
No, we're not going to do it, because if he's not on the field, we're not as successful. But also from an owner standpoint, you got to be careful where you're investing money and protecting your asset. If Dak is their asset they really want to protect, then they have to sit him. They're doing the right thing. Let's be 100% clear. If he's not healthy, do not take one snap in preseason, because that's not where the money's at. The money's at when the season starts. I say he doesn't even play the first 4 games if he's not healthy. Let him get to a point where he's healthy, where he can help us be in the best possible position to win, and he can be successful for himself, and dividends will pay for our investment. Because right now it's not paying at all. He's a guy that just hurt, and he's Dallas is on the headlines, but it's at headlines that Dak is hurt.
Yes, it's definitely not the right news that's coming
out
of Dallas right now. Yeah.
But I mean, we got other guys. We got Carson Wentz. He got hurt.
Yeah.
He was. He had those nagging injuries in Philly. He got traded to Indianapolis, and then boom, another big injury. He had to go surgery, so he's out.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be, I think, back by week 1, but I'm not quite sure. So, again, are we putting our money into these guys that are I shouldn't say they're fragile, but that are getting injured or getting hurt? It's going to be hard to justify them giving that big money out to those guys from now on.
I almost look at another aspect of this, and do we start getting folks talking about the physical nature of the game, right? Again, so having those meetings, right? Do you now start talking about the helmets? You start about the pads. You start talking about other avenues, because just throwing out a doubting Thomas type of conversation here, right? Now that we got these big name players who are bringing all the revenue to our stadiums, and they keep getting injured, keep getting hurt, and the QB who shouldn't be getting hit that much anyway. If someone is watching his blind side, he's not going to get knocked down too many times, right?
Exactly.
But so what do they start doing? Similar to like baseball, right? They're slowly trying to change baseball to be more attractive to the fans. Mm-hmm. Football has always had conversations of how do we protect the players, and rightfully so, right? Again, do we make sure you don't hit the quarterback at all? Do we add another layer of protection? Whatever the case would be? Again, I'm just throwing out.
I think it's safe as it's going to be right now. I mean, until maybe something, something happens medical or something. I don't know.
Right.
It's health. It's safe. Football is to say you're protected. You have a helmet. You have shoulder pads. You have lower pads. You have all these things going on. The thing that you got to understand is things like with Dak, freak accident. He's turning, he's twisting, he's trying to cut. Guy grabs his ankle, he turns it. His body moves one way, his ankle stays the same way, and he does. That's not necessarily. I mean, it's a football incident within the game, but that's something that wasn't like it was a hit, like somebody knocked him out, or nothing like that. It wasn't like those things. So those are things that just happen. They can happen in any sport. Basketball has freak accidents, guys breaking their legs, and so on. Every other sport. I think football looks at it because it is a contact sport. It is physical. It is, it is who can dominate who. Will they look at the safety thing? I think the main thing they need to look at is more so not broken bones, because those things are going to happen, period, or sprains or twists or tear of ligaments. The main thing they just need to protect his head. Because that's the unknown. Yeah. And they're doing everything they can. You can't hit with your head. You can't lead with your head no more. You got to lead with your shoulder,
right?
And so on and so on. So those things, they're at that protective state. I think they're in a good situation as far as safety is concerned. Now I just believe the whistle will get quicker when it comes to quarterbacks.
Definitely,
because they want to protect.
Definitely,
it'll get quicker. That in the grass thing is going to be happening now. And as much as we hate it, and other teams love it, but I mean, I want to see a Cam Newton get out and run.
Definitely.
I want to see Jalen Hurt, break the pocket and run. I want to see Kyle Murray break the pocket and run. Those are the things. But what comes with that is you put yourself in a situation to get hurt or get hit. It's no longer in the grass. You're a runner and you're running the ball like you're running back, and guys are going to take shots at you to be able to do that. I love it. Me personally.
Yeah.
Me, I don't have a problem with it. If it was up to me, I would play it. I would play it all my life. I would have played football too. I couldn't play no more. If someone said it's going to cost you 10 years off your life, I think I still would have played. It wouldn't have even mattered.
You'd have been out there.
Yeah, I think when you have a passion for that kind of sport and wanting to be physical like that, and you embrace it. You definitely embrace that kind of thing. So safety wise, I don't think they'll really look at it, because I don't even think there's really too much you could do. They got the quick whistle. They review the plays. You're never going to avoid people breaking bones and tearing ligaments and that stuff, because those things happen on usually when it's not on a hit. It doesn't happen on a hit. It usually happens when you cut the wrong way, or if it's a hit, it's like you get pushed the wrong way, but your body weight was going the other way because you were trying to cut back.
Yeah.
It's usually something where the person that has the ball is mostly a person that's kind of in a situation where he puts himself in that harm's way.
Yeah. Now I've seen, and this will probably come up. I've always seen, as of late, more issues with field prep. Right. So I would like to see maybe a higher standard just in terms of how the field is prepared prior to some of these games. And there's only so much you can do with grass, right? Again, but just seeing so many injuries about players slipping the wrong way because there's divots in the grass or whatever the case may be. But just kind of can we level up just the way that the field and the environment is taken care of before the game starts?
Yeah, and I would agree with you on that one. I would think grass is good, but grass is expensive for upkeep.
Mm-hmm.
That's why most teams have turf, AstroTurf.
Yeah.
Because grass is just so expensive to keep up. Now the AstroTurf needs to be done better. Most injuries happen on AstroTurf because grass gives. If you cut one way, somebody hits you, the grass will slip up underneath you and you'll just fall down.
Okay, good point.
Turf, it doesn't. Your foot plants, and once it plants right there, it's not going nowhere because your plant to cut back, it's not sliding. So that's where you see a lot of those ligament injuries that come in place. I think they should do something that's more improvement in that. Maybe add more cushion, maybe have it give a little bit. I'm not quite sure what the answer is. I mean, I played on grass, and when I played in college, and then we played on turf a couple of times, and it's amazing how much faster you are on turf than you are on grass. Your plants are a lot faster. You're quicker. Your impacts are a lot. You can be more physical because you're moving a lot faster. So I'm not quite sure I don't know what the scientific answer for that is, or how they're going to be able to correct the playing conditions, because they do a pretty good job. I mean, they got state of the art stuff in the NFL. There's a few fields probably there that are bad, but for the most part, they're state of the art things. And I don't think people notice it, but if you think about it, in the last 10 years, there's not a lot of knee tears. You don't see as many as we used to when it first came out. You don't hear about a lot of ligament tears. You don't hear about you'll see a big hit, and you'll hear every once in a while something like happening, but you don't hear about it like you did before. Obviously, also with that, the surgeries and everything, scientific surgeries that came a long way. So if you do tear it, guys are coming back on the field in 4 weeks. So
hey, look, if they can rebuild Alex Smith, they can rebuild anybody, right? Because I saw that E60 special.
Man, bro.
My goodness, brother, I am an Alex Smith fan now after seeing them rebuild that man.
Fanatic of Alex Smith, man, and that's a great example. If anybody out there in TV, watching this, please watch that 30 for 30 on ESPN.
Yeah,
I don't mean to give them a plug, but that was one of the best 30 for 30s I've ever seen.
Yeah,
his and the receiver Hopkins from what's the name, about his mother, his situation. That was
Andre Hopkins. Yeah.
Alex Smith's man was phenomenal to what he had to go through, the infections he had to deal with, and just to see the images of what he had to go through to integrate himself back, and the fact that he got back and he played at a high level, man, all kudos to that man.
Definitely. I know, and he's in the front office somewhere now, right? I believe. No,
he's going to broadcast. He's going to do the broadcasting.
That's close enough. Okay, he up there.
Look, get that check, man.
Hey, there we go again, getting them checks, right?
Get them checks, man. That's all that matters.
I love it. Let me go back. There was a question here that Melanie was asking about which inventory, though. Yeah, so not the retail jerseys, but everything that's at the stadium, in the locker room, right? Everything that's already been prepared for the players. So their bags with their old numbers on it, their sweatsuits and things like that. So everything that's at the stadium, in the locker room, in the facility that already has their placards around the facility. So that's what the player has to pay for if they decide that they want to switch numbers. So COVID protocols and sports. Football, every sport, right? It's the world is out of hand right now, man. And obviously these players need to be tested probably daily, regardless of what they're doing. What are you seeing, and what are you hearing from your perspective, especially from the football side, and what do you think about how it's gone thus far? I know it's early from a football perspective, but how have you seen it thus far in terms of how players and coaches?
It's going okay. I think NFL is taking some pages from the NBA. We got to be honest with ourselves. COVID is here to stay.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have to learn how to operate around and within the COVID protocols and what we need to do. It's here to stay. It's not going nowhere. So number one, vaccination is important. If you can get it, do it. You should do it. If you're not, you need to be tested very thoroughly all the time, and so you don't infect anyone else. I think now in California, I'm not quite sure how it is throughout the United States, but in California, I believe they're going to require you to show proof of. I know at least they've been focused on the Allegiant Stadium, in Las Vegas. You're going to have to be required proof that you've been vaccinated or two of you tested negative in the last 48 hours in order to enter the stadium to participate in watching the game. And that's for the fans. For a player, it's probably even more probably stringent. I believe now with the code. Now with that being said, all players in the NFL should have to have vaccination if they want to play, participate. That's my opinion from it. I know it's an individual thing. People say, "Oh, I don't believe in it," but you're not the owner. You're a player. You're an employee at this point. You're not an owner. So if you're an employee, you need to abide by certain standards in order to work for that company or represent that company.
Yep.
And one of those standards would be vaccinated. If you want to represent this company, you have to be vaccinated. I think Washington Redskins might be the only team that I think is completely vaccinated or very close.
Yes,
to it.
I did see that story. Right. I mean, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Everybody else is kind of up in the air and limbo. They still have some players that aren't doing it, and I think they should not. Me personally, if the NFL want to send a real message, they shouldn't play until they're vaccinated. You shouldn't be able to play until you're vaccinated.
Look, hey, we getting to that point, right, brother? And
we're at that point right now where it's not going nowhere. We're getting different variants. They've already said, the CDC is like, this is going to be like the flu shot. We're going to have to get it every year. That booster shot is going to have to come every year. Actually, every 8 months right now, they're saying, but every year you got to get that booster shot in order to get this thing under control. You can talk about it's not FDA approved yet. You can talk about neither was when they first came out with the smallpox vaccination and these other vaccinations.
Make it play, brother. Yeah, it is. Make it play.
It wasn't approved either. You have to get it. If you want things to go back to somewhat what we call normal, the vaccination needs to be done.
Yeah.
So what that means, you're gonna have to get it every year. That means if you want to play in the NFL or play in the major league sports or play any sport, I'm saying even anywhere down to little league to where you're old enough to get the vaccine. If you want to participate in sports, you must be vaccinated.
Yeah.
Because you're so much in contact with another person.
Exactly.
And these people come from all over the globe or all over the genres, all over social economic situations. They come from all over participating in the sport that you're going to be competing with, and you have direct contact with this person. Persons or people. You must be vaccinated in order not only to protect yourself, but to protect them.
Yeah. Now, you talked about the players, you talked about the people on staff. I'm sure you've seen as well that a number of stadiums, fields, locations are asking for that COVID vaccination card before fans walk into the building. And you got to prove that you've got one or two of the shots, you're fully vaccinated. And then if you're not, well, we'll give it to you soon before you walk down to your seat.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your thoughts about that. Yeah.
A couple of stadiums are offering the shot there.
Yeah.
When you get there, if you don't have it, you can get your first booster right there.
Right there.
On the stadium, so you can enter the game, and you can also get tested. I believe, and the place that I've seen this where I was really impressed was in Minnesota. I flew to Minnesota in the airport. Right when you come off to go get your luggage, there is a pop-up center there for you to get vaccinated and for you to get tested and get vaccinated.
Nice. Okay.
So now accessibility to getting it is not a problem. It shouldn't be a problem, especially for people. And it's smart for them because people that are traveling in or traveling out, you can get it right there. I think it's going to be the same at these sporting events. And I believe it shouldn't trickle down to just professional events. It needs to trickle down to as low as high school events. I believe high school events should start offering it there as well, especially where we have these mega games. As you know, us being in California, having these mega high school football games where people are all, where it's packed, jam-packed. They should have these pop-up centers there. And I think they should require the same thing. You need to have proof of vaccination or proof of testing for you in order to be able to participate and be a fan or to participate on the field. Because we're no longer in the thing like this is getting ready to go away. This is not something that's going away. It's not. So we better learn to live with it and deal with it. And the only way we can learn to deal with it right now is we have to be able to get vaccinated and encourage more people to get vaccinated. And continue to get vaccinated. Not just get vaccinated once. You got to get the booster. You got to keep. It's got to be something over and over again until this thing kind of just goes away.
Yeah. Let me bring this. We got a question here, and I think is going to be best to be answered by you, because again, you're closer to a lot of the teams at the high school level and the amateur levels. Let me bring this question up from Melanie. A sports physical is required for children to play sports. How is requiring a vaccine different? Some say it's a violation of rights to acquire the vaccine, but how is a sports physical different?
Okay, I'm saying, when does your right become more important than safety of masses?
Mm,
That's the question we need to ask ourselves.
mm,
When is your personal right, your personal opinion, your personal way start to become is more important than the safeties of the people that you're around and the people and others? That's the gauging question. And I believe, if you're right, if it's going to violate me or violate others, or violate many people around you, then the vaccination needs to be there. I look at it this way: if you're going to go to school, most teens and young people go to school, you need to be vaccinated. You have to show that you've been vaccinated. And if you haven't been vaccinated, you need to get vaccinated. And we're not talking about just sports physical. I'm talking about just attending school. And I'm talking about for high school all the way around. People getting confused their right. I think with their right to be able to argue, or the right to be combative, or the right to be able to not do things, with the right to not protect people, and protect others. So there's where the conflict is. I believe freedom of speech. I believe you should have the right to choose, but not when it comes at the risk of hurting or detrimentally killing someone with
yeah.
this virus.
Yeah.
Let's be honest with you. That's you're if you have this virus and you're spreading, you have the potential to kill people. That's just like having a knife, swinging it around, stabbing people. This virus, you could kill people if you have it and you're not protecting yourself. So I'm not understanding where you say you have your right. You don't have the right to stab no one. So it makes you think you have the right to spread it if you catch it.
Yeah, look. These are the awkward conversations, right? That you have to have, and then folks come from varying perspectives. I like the dialogue that you and Mel are having, and that Kevin. We see your brother. Welcome to the show, Kevin Cox. It makes sense to talk it out. And it makes sense to figure out what's most appropriate for you in your individual situation. But again, like you said, Montel, when you start dealing with the masses, when you start getting 10,000, when you start getting 20,000, however many people in the same congregated room, in a basketball gymnasium, and everyone's sweating and everyone's spitting and everyone's doing whatever, you have to be aware of that. You have to be conscious of the safety protocols. Yeah. Everyone that's out there opposing teams, everyone should have a physical to make sure that when they're not running up and down the field, that they don't pass out because they don't have a heart attack or whatever the case may be. So make sure that they can physically do the task. But now we have this global pandemic that has affected us. So we need to do the next steps, which no one has ever had to do before. No one who's still alive has ever had to go through a global pandemic. I believe the pandemic, the first one was in the 1900s. So now we're dealing with a whole different mentality, a whole different perspective in terms of how we take care of each other. And
does your right to refuse to take the thing outweigh that? It doesn't. It does not. People stretch stretch the Constitution. They stretch it for it to fit their personal needs. Remember, when it first came out, I was the first one to say, I'm not getting the shot.
Right, I remember that. Yep.
I was one of those people. I'm not getting the shot. It's whatever. I wasn't too much of a conspiracy theorist. I was just more worried about I wasn't getting the shot.
Right.
But now, understanding the data, understanding what it does, understanding more of the science, educating myself on what it is, I had no problem getting the shot. I got it. So my personal right was, I disagree with it at first, but I understand that it's bigger than me. It's bigger than me just saying no, that I'm refusing to do it. Because if I don't do it and I get sick, or I catch it, I can spread it. I can spread it to a lot of people.
Yeah.
One, my family.
Yeah.
Now, so you're telling me being so selfish, saying that I don't want to do this because it's my right not to do it, that I can be that selfish and I can particularly kill someone in my family that maybe has a pre-existing condition? I don't think that's right. I think people need to really take a step back and get a better understanding. Say, you know what, it's best for the greater cause for me to go ahead and get this vaccination.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be the best for people. And I've told everybody this, so I'm gonna share this with everybody. If it is a side effect to it, I'd rather grow my third leg 20 years from now than to die in the next couple of months from catching COVID.
Say that again. Say that again, boy.
If there is a side effect to it,
yeah,
that is, I'd rather grow my tail or that third leg or another eye or an extra ear on my cheek, whatever it may be. I'll take my chances with that 20 years from now than to die from COVID in the next 20 months.
Damn, son.
I ain't mad at that, brother.
We got to be real with ourselves, man.
Yeah,
And man, we talked about it and we laughed about it, but we can't. There's no longer the excuse of it's not available, because it is available everywhere.
Yeah.
There's no longer the excuse saying, hey, they're trying to poison everybody. If they're poisoning everybody in the United States, is going to be poisoned. It's funny. You'll drink liquor, you'll smoke cigarettes, you'll do all these things. These things are poisonous for you. They're not approved by the FDA, but we'll do that. But you don't want to go get a shot. It can possibly stop you from getting sick. I'm baffled by the ideology that people are having of why not getting it. And granted, it is your right. Well, if it's your right to do it, if it's your right not to take the vaccine, then I have the right to refuse you to come to my business to participate in my events because you're not vaccinated.
Look, I'm gonna put a bow on this right here with what you just said. No, with what you just said and what Mr. Kevin Cox just said. Agreed, 100%. Death is irreversible.
Yes.
But these possible side effects can be treated or dealt with.
Yep.
That's the social impact of what we talk about right there, folks. Again, I only mentioned the scores one time, right? and this is where we go. Got the thumbs up from Senior there too as well. Love it.
Yeah.
Look, we're going to continue to have that conversation because I don't think it's going away. No. We need to continue to have that conversation. I think it's going to continue to evolve as each season for each sport matures and gets into it. So as preseason goes and then we start getting into the regular season and folks start going into the stadiums and the fields, we'll see how that plays out.
I think what we should keep a really eye on, I think everybody, at least in the U.S., is going to be affected by it, is definitely high school football starting now.
Yeah.
High school football starting in high school football, people conjugate there to go. Texas is very huge. California is pretty huge. I think in Ohio, Florida, these places are very huge where high school football. We're not talking about pros. We're not talking about people that go forward. We're not talking about colleges.
Might as well be when you start talking about Texas and so. Might as well.
Yeah. But I'm saying we're not talking about pros. We're not talking about colleges where they can kind of control the environment. We're talking about high school. Now at high school, I think we're going to see. Me personally, I think we're going to see a rampant spread of this of the virus because of those one or two people that don't want to get vaccinated, but they're going to attend these events. They're going to sit there with no mask on, breathing, cheering, screaming, and doing all they can do. And it's going to spread somewhere. Yeah. And those things, I think you're going to see schools, student bodies, and things have to shut down. And it's going to be, it's sad because that takes away from the high school experience, your youth experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But just because you have a few individuals that want to be selfish and talk about their right and talk about they shouldn't get vaccinated, they shouldn't treat themselves, they shouldn't. Those few individuals are going to be the cause to take away part of these people's, high school experience and going on. And God forbid no one dies from it.
Amen on that. I mean, there's see Kevin talking about Ohio. I worry about a lot of places, but Florida and Texas, worry about them a lot, right? Especially again, as we start getting back into social situations and especially sporting events, right? Because again, like you say, high school football, high school sports, gymnastics, volleyball, whatever the case may be, is starting again. And there are those dissenting views. We've got some out here as well. And in liberal California, which is not that right. Yeah. Again, we've got those types of views as well, where we've got a lot of groups who are anti-masking, anti-vasking, whatever the case may be. So there's a lot of contentious conversations right now in some of these school boards. So before we move on, though, what's funny? Go ahead, brother. This is what we do.
Yeah, what's funny makes me laugh because y'all see these people saying, I don't want to wear no mask. It's a hoax.
Yeah.
I'm sure you heard that. Yeah. It's a hoax. The government just built this up. It's a hoax. I tell them to go sit your ass in the ER and sit there with no mask on for an hour, a couple hours. No, for real. If you believe it's a hoax and this isn't true and these things don't happen, go sit in the ER where they're admitting these people in the ICUs. Yeah. Go sit there without no mask and go chill for a couple hours and see what happens.
Yeah. And see how go anywhere in the hospital because almost every single floor, every single bed is now being taken by someone who is dealing with COVID, as opposed to someone that may have another illness. Right? All the other illnesses didn't go away. just because
Yeah, yeah.
COVID came about.
Exactly.
But more than 80% of all the beds in every single hospital across the globe.
Exactly. But I'm saying, if you that conspiracy theorist, you think it's not real, or it can't happen to you, or it can't spread, and you Superman, go on and go sit in there and go see. Everyone has a hospital within a nice radius of them.
Yes, they
20-mile
do.
radius is a hospital
Yes,
for
they do.
everybody, even in the rural area. So if you that dude that's in the backwoods, don't want to wear that, don't want to wear no mask, don't want to get vaccinated, and you think it's fake, go sit in the ICU for an hour or so and tell me what you see.
Yeah, forget
With no
what
mask on,
you're seeing on TV, right? Because if you think the news is jaded, and it is sometimes essentializing it, but go in there and actually see it for your own eyes. Take the doubting Thomas out of it, right? Go out there and see it for yourself. So.
Yeah. Go see it for your own eyes, and let's see it back in 2 weeks, and let's test you in 2 weeks to see if you got it. Let's see if you got something or not. I mean, like I said, man, you're right. You're right to not take the medicine, or you're right not to do that. I get it, but you don't have the right to jeopardize other people's lives either.
You just
by
don't.
Not taking the
you
virus.
just don't. It's not about rights. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's not about rights, man. It's about the safety.
Yeah, so. I love it. Someone was asking, what's the score? Them Patriots is killing them Eagles. So I don't know if my boy Marvin Stark is watching right now, but man, it's 32-0 right now. So them Patriots is doing their thing. Belichick has got the process going. Melanie talking about them backwoods too. We're gonna continue that conversation as we move forward. But look, let's go ahead and get into another conversation, another topic here, which is troubling. And I've been hemming and hawing trying to figure out how we're gonna bring this up, because I know we're gonna get into some conversation, but it's good. Trevor Bauer, pitcher for the LA Dodgers, is in a bad situation. He's done some bad things, irregardless of what he may think. And so if you don't know what's going on with Trevor Bauer, he is being accused of assault. He's being accused of being, I'm going to make the words here, being predator, of abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse to some women who he had relations with, who he had sexual relations with. Apparently, sum it up here and kind of be just kind of not too vague, but just to be kind of just to the point. Women wanted to have relations with him a certain kind of way. He apparently abided by it to an extent, but then Trevor Bauer went over the top, right? And did some things to these ladies, punched them in the face, punched them in the butt, punched them in the privates, and just choking them out, and just really being incredibly monstrous to another human being. And there are some restraining orders out there against him right now. Mm-hmm. There was actually a story today that one permanent restraining order actually got denied by the judge, but I believe there's still some temporary restraining orders out there. Reason we bring this up, folks, is again, here's a man who hypothetically could be at the top of the world, right? He's pitcher for the world champion Los Angeles Dodgers. He's going out here and he's doing certain things to ladies that he's having relationships with, and I just don't know if he can ever come back from this. I don't know if I would ever want him to come back from this and be in the public light. I think this man needs serious counseling. I think this man needs serious help to make sure that he doesn't go out there and do this type of thing again to anyone. It's I'm not going to say it's an imbalance that he has maybe mentally. I'm just going to say maybe he's got some things going on in terms of what he thinks he likes and what he thinks his partners like. And he has gone over the edge in this particular case. We're going to continue to find out what's going on because the trial and the testimony is still going on. We're talking about it fresh right now because, again, one of the ladies was actually testifying today about this current situation. Montel, talk to us a little bit about this, man, because I'm going to bring up some of the current news about what's going on, and tell me your thoughts again about everything that's going on. Talk to me about your thoughts about who's at fault, if you think someone necessarily is at fault, and kind of the future prospects for someone like a Trevor Bauer moving forward in society and moving forward in the sport of baseball.
Yeah, I think this is a story that it's troubling. It's really troubling. It's troubling in a couple of different ways. I mean, I've only heard the one young lady's testimony, and man, let's be honest with she was about that life. She messed with several baseball players or professional athletes before, and then she hooked up with him. What he did to her, the things that she was saying that she did to her, the punching and the physical abuse and all that stuff, obviously definitely wrong. Don't know where that came from or whatnot. And obviously she felt violated in that situation, rightfully so. But, I go to the situation. I mean, it's not right. And I'm gonna point the finger at myself. It's really not right. But I mean, you can't put yourselves in harm's way. I know that, and I think this young lady put herself in harm's way. She didn't deserve what she got, not by any means. But I mean, she can't. She couldn't. I wish she wouldn't have put herself in that situation. If that's the correct word. I wish she wouldn't have put herself in the situation, because this guy obviously has major issues and major problems. He's a professional. I'm trying to look at it from both sides of the way. He's 100% wrong, but I'm trying to be like his psyche. He's a professional athlete. Everything's been given to him so much. People, women throwing themselves at him all the time. And some women he's done this too. This isn't something you just do. He's done this too, and they're okay with it. And obviously there's women that are not okay with it. Is it the part that he just can't decipher? Did he pay them off? I don't know. I mean, this is twisted, man. I really don't know what's going on with this guy and why he did the things he did. The rough sex part or the rough sexual encounter, I understand that's everyone's preference. You do what you want to do behind closed doors, people like that. But the punching and the choking and the pulling the hair and punching them everywhere and all that stuff, that's taken overboard. But with the victims, or at least this particular victim, in her testimony, she didn't say she screamed out loud for people to hear her. And I'm not saying she was trying to extort her and saying that was wrong, that she had to scream. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying, for me personally, if someone was punching me and it was hurting me and I couldn't get away from them, I'm going to scream. Or I want to scream help. She didn't say those things kind of happen. So my question is with this, he's wrong, but where does he draw the line from some of these people, I guess, doing it for money or extorting him in the money aspect from the athletic standpoint? Because he's a millionaire. He's got money. He's been doing it. And I know I sound like a hypocrite or sound twisted, and I don't mean to sound that way. I'm trying to sort everything out in my mind that kind of goes with this kind of situation, because it's so complicated and so difficult. He's wrong. He's definitely wrong. But does she have any? Does she have anything to do with this at all? What I'm saying, she's a victim, but is she a victim to the point where she's been in that circle? She slept with other ball players. She didn't scream for help or scream anything or outcry for someone to get to her. She put herself in this situation. And this guy has a reputation. This ain't just the first time. He has a reputation of doing this through other cities as well. And in that circle, you understand the reputations that go around. I just don't know, man. I can't get it. Yeah. I don't know the story. I can't sort it out, man. I don't know what is. I don't know. I know what's wrong, but I don't know all of the wrong. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm explaining.
I'll give you that, and I'll put this on here as well, right? It seems hard to talk about it, but it shouldn't be, because it's wrong, simple. And I completely agree with Melanie on that.
Yeah.
I think the conversation that I want to have is, this guy Trevor has done this before. Now, with the advent of social media, with the advent of us, we now seeing it in the news, because it hasn't been talked about before. He's I'm gonna say he's gotten away with it in the past.
Yeah.
How do we move forward from this point, right? Obviously, we need to make sure that he doesn't do this again. Do we again provide some type of counseling, some type of situation? Do we move him out of his position? Right.
You move him into jail. He committed
Okay,
assault.
so again,
So
you know I'm always picking at scabs, trying to get you to react like
yeah.
this. So folks who probably don't know, this is kind of a conscious back and forth that I'm trying to get Montel to respond and say.
Yeah.
But that's the dialogue I think that
Yeah.
people are scared to have, right? Like Melanie's question or statement there. It's hard to talk about, but it shouldn't be. But that's the point where we need to be. And this camera of mine that it keeps going out of autofocus is driving me crazy. But go ahead to where you were going with that.
He needs to go to jail. He assaulted that woman. He assaulted her.
Yeah.
He physically assaulted her. Period.
Yeah.
That's wrong. I'm looking at the whole context of the situation, and I'm saying from other players, from other things that go wrong. Like, he's wrong, but I mean, I'm not saying that the young lady was not a victim at all. I'm not saying that because clearly she was a victim, but I think you have to have a little more awareness of your surroundings of what's going on when you're in those situations. You know what I mean? You just got to be aware because there are predators out there, and a predator ain't no guy on the street no more. It's a guy that has $1 million. It's a high profile athlete. These guys are out there and he's doing these horrific things to these women. I just wish we could have more awareness that's going on so we can avoid those kind of situations. And a guy like him needs to be locked up. He's no different than R. Kelly. We were mentioning earlier. He's no different than R. Kelly.
Right.
What's the difference? What is the difference? The difference is, okay, he did it too. I'm assuming they're older women, but he assaulted them. He verbally assaulted them. He physically assaulted them. He needs to go to jail. He should be sitting in jail right now next to R. Kelly. To be honest with you.
Exactly.
What is going on?
So when someone made a statement as well in the comments, right? You take the sports piece out of this, and he's just a regular guy. And again, everything that we're talking about is absolutely incorrect and very wrong. And I mean, Kevin is saying the same thing, right? Absolutely, he should be banned from baseball and never allowed back. He's done. And I just.
Before you go, my question is, he's done this before and gotten away with it.
Yeah.
This is not something that happens. He's done it before and he's gotten away with it. So my thing is the psyche. If I do something and I get away with it, and I've done it a couple times, gotten away with it, he doesn't know where to draw the line, where it's too much. Him probably thinking it's just, hey, I'm having a relationship with this person.
Mm-hmm.
I've done this before. And the way I've gotten out of it is typically they pay money. Obviously, the athletes, they give them money, give the young women money to be quiet. So my situation is, that's a problem in itself right there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That someone is quiet and people are being paid hush money to not say anything to deal with this stuff because it's getting it wrong. It's sad, man. And trust me, I don't mean to sound hypocritical. I don't even know. It's a very confusing. It's not a confusing situation. It's a very difficult situation, like you said, to talk about and to go through because I don't understand his mindset, man. I really don't. I don't get why you would do that to any human being.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make any sense to me. And the fact of the matter that we even have to go to trial to convict him. Man, you shouldn't be no trial. She got bruises. You punched her. You go to jail. But that's it.
Court of public opinion can get him right here and string this dude up for this, and especially again coming from girl dad, right? So that's why folks and you guys all know. I mean, I'm a girl dad, so that's why it irks me quite a bit more when I hear something like this because like I want to go out and knock this dude down, but.
But do you understand where I'm coming from as far as like I wish the young lady was more aware of the situation so she didn't put herself in that situation? Does that make sense? And I know it's hard to tell or hard to know, and you don't. But I think you got to be aware of your surroundings because, like I said, these predators are everywhere. I got 3 daughters, so I'm more than pissed off, and I'm not, and I said there's no woman deserves that situation, no anything, and I'm not saying that they do, but I just think you got to be aware of it. You have to teach you. I mean, I want to teach my daughters to be aware of the situation, hopefully, so it doesn't happen to them. I want them to understand their surroundings and what's going on, making sure just don't get yourself in that kind of harm's way. If you hear something about this person, don't follow through. And it's just tough, man. I don't, I feel angry towards him. And I don't want to say I feel pity or I feel sad for the young lady. The young ladies he's assaulted.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a sorrow sad. It's like, damn, you got caught in that situation. Shit, I wish you wouldn't because you're an adult. I wish you wouldn't have got caught in that. Like, I wish you could have figured out a way to get yourself out of it. And like I said, I read his little testimony from yesterday, and I keep going on it. I remember he, the defense, not the defense, the defense attorney was like, well, she didn't scream, she didn't make any, no one around, no one in the next
Yeah.
door building heard
Yeah.
her. She didn't say anything right afterwards.
Yeah.
She didn't, run to the police right afterward. But now all of a sudden it's assault, and we know high profile people are always getting caught in those kind of situations. So man, I'm sorry, audience. I just don't know.
No.
I don't know, man. I really don't know.
And again, I can guarantee you, and we say this almost every other week, right? Because we go way deeper into a lot of these sensitive conversations than a lot of other channels, networks, shows, streams, whatever the case may be, do. Because they're probably just looking for the headline. They're just looking for the quick hit.
Yeah, and I don't want to be static pro. I don't want to just be the political writer. Political writer, I'll be like, yeah, well, he's guilty, and that's it. I don't, he's just it's more complicated than that. I believe. I think it's more complicated from the victim standpoint as well as him being the aggressor standpoint. It's really complicated, and I can see myself as an athlete, not a rich athlete, not him, but I can see myself as an athlete. But also can empathize because I have daughters and I can understand I wouldn't want that to happen to them.
Yeah,
I can see where everything's being given to me because I'm this high profile person, so I can kind of get away with a lot of things that I want to. But also, I would want the young lady to make sure she's aware of her surroundings and her situation, so she doesn't get caught in those situations. I don't know. I wish some women would definitely chime in and.
Oh, they chiming in. No trip. They chiming in.
Please curse me out or tell me what's wrong because I'm just trying. I'm trying to figure. I'm serious. I don't want to be the static pro. Just tell you the answer you want to hear. I'm human. I'm complex like everybody else.
Yeah.
Different thoughts run through my mind. I want to hear everything.
Yeah.
I know she didn't scream. Have he would consider she was terrified? Yes, I agree. I don't know if she was terrified, but Melanie, in that same instance, if she was terrified and she didn't scream, when she got a chance to get out the room, how come she didn't go right to the police? Why didn't you go to the police? I know someone did that to me and I was terrified. And once I got out the room, I'd go get help and go, man, I'll go get my crew to come beat them down. But I mean, why didn't you run to the police or run to somebody else? I'm asking the question. I'm not quite sure how, how it works.
I guess I can hear you asking the question, but that's probably a tough statement to make, right? Again, because there's been so many things that have happened as of recent, as of late, even in the past before we knew about it, right? Just women being brutalized and women being not treated fairly. There's been so much happening with chauvinism and just men acting out of place, and for a woman to always have to be the bearer of the proof of evidence, right? To be the judge, jury, the investigator, to be everything to prove that she was not guilty, that she was right. I mean that's just a very bad look for society, I think, in and of itself. And we are not psychologists, we're not sociologists, but we are having this conversation, and I'm just glad that folks are that we are chomping at the bit right now and bringing this up, because again, no one else is going as deep as we are about this, and this is the only way that we can try to heal. And then my question
and try to understand. I mean, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to figure out a better me. And like I said, don't get my words twisted. I'm like I said, I'm trying to see it from different lenses to kind of understand what's going on. I believe he's 100% wrong. I believe he should be in jail right now. I don't think he shouldn't be in court or whatever. I'll tell you what you're saying, but exactly. And I'm saying, but because I'm trying to understand the psyche of why this even happened. That's exactly why. Why in the frick did this even happen? Why? That's exactly where it is. And now, why did this even happen? Why is this even a situation that even happened in here? And you're right. She's absolutely right. I don't know, man. I'm pissed. I'm more mad than anything about the situation. Like, damn.
So what do let's pretend we didn't have this platform right now, right? What do we do as a society, right? I mean, we can't get everyone who watches this stream, this channel, to go to Trevor Bauer's house and line up and beat him up, right? I mean, how do, and again, not saying that we're psychologists or we know all of the answers, but what do we do to first and foremost support the ladies that are coming forward? Right. First and foremost, support them in their times of trauma, their times of need, because that just needs to be forefront. But moving forward, right, is this guy going to continue? I know it seems very trivial right now, but is this guy still going to be on the mound for the world champion Dodgers, right, entertaining however many people fit in the Dodger Stadium? Does he still get that right after what he's done to be out there?
If they find holes in those young ladies' stories, then yes, he will be. Unfortunately, I hate to say it because that's the way it is. If they find holes in those young ladies' stories, and they find something that doesn't support exactly what they're saying, he'll be back pitching and everything, and that's sad. That's sad because no one's hearing their cries.
Yeah,
no one's hearing what's going on.
That's tough. I got a couple of cats that are real tight with the Dodgers, and I just don't think that at that point, if that happens, I mean,
you don't think he'll be pitching no more in baseball? It's happened to athletes before. There's been a situation like it's happened to entertainers that's been in this situation before. If they find a hole in those situations, they're back at it again. I mean, let's not forget. I mean, he may not get the money he got before. He may not get all the endorsements they got before, but that doesn't mean they're going to quit their craft. They're going to stop their craft. If he's valuable to somebody, he will be paid to be valuable to somebody and be on that mound if he gets away with this situation. I mean, I hate to bring it up. Let's talk about your man, Ben Roethlisberger. To say it, but he's still throwing the football. Am I not correct?
He's still out there? No, definitely, right.
And did he not assault a woman? Physically assault somebody twice? He assaulted one in the bathroom and assaulted somebody else. I believe 2 women. Washed it under the rug and got away with it, and is back on. Is still playing on the field. So, again, if they find any holes in their story, they're going to. He'll be back out on the field. Unfortunately, I mean, let's talk about another incident that happened like this. This is just as gruesome as this one. Was Marv Albert, the commentator?
Yeah. Okay. I had to think about that for a second. Yeah.
He had a big sexual assault where he physically assaulted and bit the person.
Yeah, when he was biting folks. Yeah,
doing all that kind of stuff. Marv Albert just retired from being a commentator in the NBA for 60 some odd years.
Yeah.
So if they can figure it out a whole, or unfortunately, the way they try to do it is either pay him off or give him hush money, do whatever they want to do to cover up them victimizing these people. They're gonna do it and get him back on the mound if they feel the season. I feel he should be in jail right now. Should be right there, right next to R. Kelly. The same thing that he did, he should be right there, right next to him, sitting down, getting ready to be charged or whatever they're getting ready to come and charge with. The situation is he's not. He's been able to fight his in court right now.
Yeah,
because he had enough money for bail or whatever he's doing. It's sad, man. It's just a sad situation, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys, for being back and forth and trying to see everything and saying the word "but." I didn't mean "but" in the word that I don't think that he's not guilty or not victimized. I guess I can't comprehend this situation, man. I can't understand why this is even happening on any end.
Yeah, and it's not fair for. I'm gonna say this: it's not for either one of us to try to understand it to that level, right? That's not our profession. That's not what we've been trained for. A number of times I've tried to reach out and find a psychologist, someone actually who can come on the show and talk to us about some of these topics, some of these aspects, right? Again, we wanted to talk to someone about the whole NIL, the name, image, and likeness types of things, and how youngsters are now going to have to deal with that from a mental stress perspective. Now we've got sexual assault, and we've got, again, how both sides are affected by, I think, all 3 sides, right? The accused, the accuser, and then us, the Monday morning quarterbacks, right? Because, again, that court of public opinion is always something that weighs as well. I'm gonna continue to take the charge to find someone in the field of psychiatry who can come in and just chop it up with us, right? Because we go into some deep conversations, and I love the fact that we agree, that we disagree, that I think some folks wanted to type in their comments with capital letters so to let us know that they were screaming. But
I want to, and I'll take all heat and all smoke. I'm not running from. I don't run from one. I don't run from the comments. I run from the situation. But I really, like I tell before on some of my podcasts, I'm learning this myself, and I don't. This situation is crazy. And I think, the more I'm thinking about it, the more you were talking about it, like you said, the accused and the accusers, the victims and people that are being victimized. We're in these situations where we've seen it, where people sometimes are falsely accused of the same scenario, and it's not true, or the scenario is wrong. Not saying this young lady or these incidents aren't, because it has to be proven in court. But these things are where they're wrong or whatever. And I think being in that limelight, or being an entertainer, or being a high person corporate, that line, man, that's just such a line that I don't understand, and again can't comprehend. That I wish that I knew more about or could understand it, but I guess I'm just oblivious to it. So please forgive me for my ignorance. I mean, everyone out there, especially that's disagreeing with me, please forgive me. So
no, look, we're all learning, right? We're all learning, and again, we don't grow as a society, I don't think, if we don't have these types of conversations, right? If we just try to shuffle everything under the rug,
that's a powerful statement right there.
And then, yeah, right. So,
yeah.
Let me see here. Thank you, Melanie, for that. Mr. Kevin Cox, you should look at a guy that does Dr. Mondo. I'm not sure he's on YouTube, but he's big into sports and just started. Hey, Kevin, hook me up, right? I will definitely, if you can make the introduction, or I'll reach out and see if I can find them. But again, I think that's where that's the next level of where we need to go. Not with just this particular topic, but with just so many other ones that we've been broaching and having conversation with, because.
And you know what, man? I hope people appreciate us not being status quo. Because I could have easily said, victim, let's go on, let's move on to the next topic, who's guilty. But I'd rather go into the inside and talk more about it, and get and go in more detail of what's happening and stuff like this, because this stuff, I mean, we got a lot of people that have been in this situation, man, that nothing happens to. Yeah. And it's unfortunate. I mean, like I forgot the guy that hit the girl in the Ray Rice, when he hit his wife in the elevator. Yeah. But also, I'm looking at that. Do we say Beyonce's sister is convicted when she beat up Jay-Z in the elevator? You know what I mean? That's assault.
It's too different though. No, that's too different.
Wait. Explain to me how that's different. If it's assault in the back, I mean, granted, he hit her. He's definitely Ray Rice. I thought should have went to jail.
Well, no. So I'm saying that's different than the Trevor Bauer situation. That's apples and oranges.
Yeah. But I'm saying we run into a lot of these instances, because there's other instances that kind of go in there with other athletes as well.
Yeah.
The offensive lineman for Seattle Seahawks that beat his girl.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Did those things, because I'm talking about the assault part on an individual, which is, I think, the part that you're guilty of. Mm-hmm. That this guy should be guilty of this picture. It's the assault in victimizing this young lady. Assault is assault, as far as I'm concerned, wherever you go with it. Mm-hmm. But I'm saying we can't be oblivious to the spectrum. There are people that accuse people of assault and doing things that is not true. That happens in this world. There are women that, there are people that are out there that do that. I'm not going to just say women, men and women that accuse people of doing things that didn't happen. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So it goes on both sides. I'm not going to we can't ignore, we can't just we can't just talk about, this person is always victimizes, these guys always do this, or these people always do this, and not talking about, well, there's all those people that falsely accuse them of doing things as well.
Yeah.
When it's not true. So I want to have a deep, because I would love to have a deep conversation with some people and say, hey, especially I forgot Melanie. I would love her to come on the line and school me to the game. I want to hear from
MDH. That's my people right there. MDH. Yeah, she's definitely on the good list. She definitely knows what she's talking about. And I'm gonna reach out and try to find this Dr. Mondo. So thank you for that, Kevin. Here we go, folks. Okay, so let's do this, man. We're gonna wrap.
End with a better note, man, because I'm now.
We're gonna wrap, because we can continue to go down this path, and I'm still gonna try to go hit the gym, even though I'm drinking this scotch, which is probably not a good look. 35-0. Them Patriots are killing your Eagles.
Is that scotch FDA approved? Drinking all that yak.
Well, I ain't gonna mess with that. I'm not gonna mess. Okay. But folks, look, thank you, right, for contributing to the conversation, because again, this is not something that you're gonna find on Fox, CNN, CBS, anywhere else. And that's a great niche, I guess, that we have, but it's actually a shame as well, because no one is diving deeper into these types of statements, into these types of situations, the way that I think we should be. Because if they were, we wouldn't have as much trouble, we wouldn't have much drama, we wouldn't have as much confusion on this planet. If folks actually sat down with each other and communicated about these types of issues that are affecting us on a day-to-day basis. Because I would not know about how you felt, you would not know how I felt if we didn't sit down and verbalize it. So that's why we're utilizing this platform, right? So we go live every week, Thursday night, 6 o'clock, talk about the social impact of sport. And I think, darn it, I think we actually did that tonight. So,
man, yeah, you guys we hit my nerve tonight, unfortunately.
you go run around the block a little bit, you know, that, and relieve some tension, man. So again, hopefully folks took it with sincerity in terms of the conversation and the fact that we want to learn, we want to have the dialogue, we don't want to alienate anybody. We want to make sure that all sides are heard and that we just all continue to grow together, right? I think that's just how we just progress this society. So hang with us, folks, while we do our thing. Appreciate you, sir, for the statement there. Talk to me about what you're doing this week, Montel, in the realm of sports. Give me a good story, brother. Give me a good story.
Yeah, in the realm of sports, man, I'm back on doing some things for high school football. Talking to please, doing some other platforms, which is great. And then just continually, man, to help young men and young women, like I say, go to college. I really want to, go to college. Actually, sports is the kind of the gateway or the platform to kind of get them in, but then also work with different programs to make sure they stay there. Like I said, the summer bridge program, to take advantage of that, take advantage of the AOS programs that these schools have for them to be able to get their degree, get some free units, get acclimated to school, especially, and be successful, man. Because I think, education is that big breed that we need, and continue to develop our young folks. So I'm gonna definitely stay on that path. And then you always know I'm fighting the Division II football thing back in California.
Yeah.
I'm gonna continue to fight that. I think that needs to be brought back to be able to bring, diversity more to some of the smaller schools in California, to help, more young men of color be attending these schools and have a successful rate of graduating and also attending, just to be able to get into school, and using sports again as that platform, mainly football, which would be a big platform for that, man. Just kind of continually just fighting the fight to give back to our youth the best way I know. And the best way I know is doing a hybrid of really, sports and going to get that education, man. I think that's just super duper important in our society.
I love it, brother. I love it. I'm gonna bring some jokes next week. We're gonna have this whole show about jokes. Maybe we talk about them last pace Chicago Cubs.
Low blow.
Yeah,
low blow.
I just hit someone with a low blow, but I ain't gonna do that too much, no.
No, but hey, I like to thank our fans, though, man. Thank you guys for chiming in. Thank you guys for hitting us up. Thank you guys for commenting. Thank you guys for even just paying attention to watching us two salt and pepper brothers for an hour.
That's it.
Discussing some crazy madness stuff that you won't hear anywhere else. But I mean, I think that you guys, I love the dialogue. I love, man, I like to argue. I guess I should have been a lawyer in my previous thing. I like to argue and discuss, but also I like to understand. I like to understand and get a better understanding. So I think that's where we're at. And I really do appreciate, I guess I could say our fans. I don't want to say our fans, because you guys are our fans. Our support mechanism.
Our community. This is all about building community. Exactly. This is all about building community.
They chime and they give us their opinion. They're our community, and I like to hear our community's voice.
That's it. I love it, brother. We out. Hey, y'all be good to yourself, be good to your neighbors, and we will see you next week. Team No Sleep.